after missed flights, lost luggage, and vacation sickness? I think I can help answer that question. Here's the truth. Over 60% of travelers either don't buy travel insurance or don't fully understand what they're getting. And trust me, when disasters strike, that fine print matters. And it's not about being paranoid. It's about protecting your health, your wallet, and your peace of mind. Let's start with the big 6 pillars of travel insurance. First, it's trip cancellation. Reimburses you for prepaid travel costs if you cancel for a covered reason. Think illness, injury, natural disasters, or unforeseen events your policy spells out. Number 2, medical expenses. It covers emergency medical and sometimes dental care abroad. Especially important because your normal health insurance might not work internationally. Third, emergency medical evacuation. Pays for transport to the nearest hospital or even back home if necessary. Fourth, trip interruptions, which covers the unused portion of your trip plus extra transport home if you need to cut it short for a covered reason. 5, baggage loss and damage or delay, which protects you if your bags are lost, stolen, or damaged, and some policies even cover temporary essentials if your luggage is delayed. Travel delay. It helps pay for meals, hotels, and incidentals if your trip is delayed for a set amount of hours due to a covered reason. Here's what's not usually covered. Now, here's where people get tripped up. Travel insurance doesn't cover everything. Pre-existing medical conditions might be excluded unless you added a waiver. High-risk activities like snowboarding, skydiving, or mountain climbing may need special coverage. Some pandemics or political unrest situations are not covered unless you have cancel for any reason coverage, and that can be pricey. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite ways to get travel insurance, and that's through credit cards. They actually have hidden perks. Before you buy a separate policy, check your wallet. Many premium credit cards like Chase Sapphire Reserve, Air Max Platinum, Capital One Venture offer built-in travel insurance. Typical benefits include trip cancellation and interruption coverage, often up to $10,000 per trip, rental car insurance, primary coverage in some cases, lost luggage reimbursement, sometimes $3,000 or more, travel incident insurance, a lump sum payout for rare but serious accidents. But here's the catch. You usually have to pay for your trip with that card. Coverage amount may be lower than a standalone policy, and medical evacuation and overseas health coverage may be limited. When I went to Thailand, I happened to actually get traveler's diarrhea, and I was so happy that the policy that I had selected offered medical travel insurance due to unforeseen circumstances of if I had to go to the hospital. Now, let's talk about it, because when we're talking about travel insurance, you can either customize it or you can select one that is already predetermined. When you buy insurance directly from a provider, you'll often see 2 options: predetermined plans, prepackaged with set coverages, like buying a combo meal, good for simplicity, but maybe you pay for extras that you don't need. When I go for predetermined plans, I usually use a Lancia, I believe that's how you call it, and I usually go with the basic or the lower tiered program, and I never have any issues with that. Next, we have custom plans. You can choose coverage amount for each category. Great for tailoring to your exact trip, but it can get more expensive if you add everything. So technically, I only use custom plans in addition with my credit card. I will use my credit card, and if you are looking to see which credit card that is, you can use my affiliate link, which is attached below in this video, and that covers my luggage. But 9 times out of 10, I'm only doing carry-on, so that's not a huge factor for me. And when Biden was in office, he established certain type of laws that airlines have to abide by when they are delayed. So pairing laws with my credit card allows for protection when it comes to delays in luggage. But when it comes to my health, I definitely go and get a custom plan that will cover any medical or emergency expenses, especially when I'm going to a country more prone to get sick due to the food or the water. Also, pro tip, for international trips or adventure travel, custom plans can be worth it. For short domestic trips, a predetermined plan on your credit card coverage might be plenty. Also, in my opinion, I would book those as soon as you book your flight. Here are some pros and cons of travel insurance. One pro is the peace of mind knowing emergencies are covered, potentially saving thousands in unexpected expenses, and access to 24-hour assistance hotline. Once, while coming back from a trip from Europe, my domestic transfer flight was missed. We arrived to the airport 3 hours late. The next flight back to my final destination wasn't until the next morning. Luckily, I had travel insurance, and unfortunately, the laws did not really work in my favor during that time, that year. So what I did was I used my coverage of $200 to help pay for me a car rental to drive from one state to another to get to my final destination. Unfortunately, that was a very expensive rental because I was not dropping it back off into the same state, but I was able to use my travel insurance to help cut down on the cost of the rental car. Here are some cons. Costs. It's typically 4 to 10% of your total trip. Fine print can be confusing and may duplicate coverage you already have. Said before, make sure you check your credit card coverage and make sure you buy that trip with that credit card. Sometimes I don't need my coverage, but if it's a country I've never been to, I definitely feel safer knowing that I have it and not having to use it. So, how to pick the right policy. When shopping, ask yourself, am I traveling internationally or domestically? Do I have health insurance that works abroad? What's the total cost of my trip, and am I checking bag? Also, will I be doing adventurous sport? Then compare policy limit, deductibles, and what's considered a covered reason, and 24-hour assistance availability. Personally, I always check my credit card benefits first. If you don't have covered big medical or evacuation needs or international travel, I add a custom policy from a trusted provider, and usually that is here. For domestic trips under $500, I skip extra coverage and rely on my credit card. Also have packing videos that will help you reduce the cost of paying for extra baggage, so go ahead and watch that video here. Here's some money saving icons and flight deals in comparison. Okay, for quick tips to save money, as soon as you book your trip, some benefits may kick in if purchased early. Compare multiple providers using sites like Wearmouth and Insure My Trip, and avoid buying directly from airlines. They often upsell, overprice, and have limited policies. So here's your homework assignment. Fill out your credit card agreements, see what's already included, and decide what's missing. That way, you're covered without overpaying. Drop your best or worst travel insurance stories in the comments. Let's make sure nobody gets caught in a nightmare scenario. And if you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share with all your travel buddies. Your future self will thank you.